kid. Está un niño. And this kid, isn't he good looking? ¿No se ve bonito ese niño? This little kid had a little issue. Tenía un pequeño problema. And his problem was that he wouldn't walk. Este niño no quería caminar. To be honest with you, he started walking after he was 2 years old. Empezó a caminar después de los 2 años. Usually, about what age do kids start walking? Usualmente, ¿a qué edad los niños empiezan a caminar? Como al primer año, like at the first year. Amen? This kid wouldn't walk. Este niño no quería caminar. Era rebelde. He was a rebel. But it wasn't his fault the whole way. No era su culpa todo el tiempo. He was one of the he was the only child at that time. Era el único hijo en ese momento. So the parents were new parents. So los papás eran nuevos padres. So they carried him everywhere. So lo levantaban y lo cargaban para todos lados. So the kid said, why should I walk? So el niño dijo, ¿por qué camino? If I'm able to cry and my mom will take me, si yo lloro y mi mamá me lleva, why walk? Why bother? And sometimes we're like that. Y en veces así somos nosotros. The store is like a mile away or a few blocks away, and we decide to go in the car because it's more like it's a lot. We get kind of comfortable. En vez de la tienda está como a 2 cuadras y agarramos el carro y nos vamos en el carro porque es más conveniente con el carro, más fácil. So this kid, I believe that if he wouldn't have continued to walk, if he just said, you know what, I'm going to be lazy, I'm not going to walk my entire life, he would have had a whole different life. Yo me imagino que si este niño haya dicho, yo nunca voy a caminar, haya tenido otra vida diferente. Pero no. This kid, after 2 years old, este niño después de 2 años, he decided to grow. Él decidió crecer. He decided to make a change. Él decidió hacer un cambio. So, one day his parents had left him in the living room. He was able to sit. So, sus papás lo dejaron en la entrada y lo dejaron sentado. All of a sudden, the parents turned around. De repente, los padres voltearon, and this kid was running around. Estaba corriendo. And he wouldn't stop. This kid was running around. He wouldn't stop. No paraba de correr. And the parents were like, he could run? He couldn't even walk. Y los papás dijeron, ¿puede correr? No podía ni caminar. And they found something out. Y ellos descubrieron algo. That he knew how to walk. Él sabía cómo caminar. Just when they were around him, cuando ellos estaban alrededor de él, he'll sit down. Él se sentaba. So era mañoso. So he had a little trick on his sleeves, huh? Yes. But where I'm getting at, en lo que voy a entrar, es de que a single change could change your entire life. Un cambio puede cambiar toda tu vida. Can you go to the next slide? So this kid, later on, he was able to run. He was able to do everything with his legs. Después pudo correr, pudo hacer todas las cosas con sus piernas. And with that small change, con ese pequeño cambio, he was able to be in school dances on the left-hand side. Pudo estar en bailes a la mano izquierda en la escuela. He was able to do his favorite sports. Podía hacer sus deportes favoritos. And then he was able to walk to school and high school and continue his path. Pudo ir a la preparatoria y seguir su curso. And he was able to find his wife. Él pudo encontrar a su esposa. And now ahora tenemos a un niño. Now we have a son, Jonathan. And now I remember when Jonathan first started walking. Me acuerdo cuando Jonathan empezó a caminar. What do parents do usually? ¿Qué es lo que hacen los padres? They pick him up, lo levantan, and they're behind him. Y lo están siguiendo to make sure that he doesn't fall. Asegurarse que no se caiga. Porque si se caen la primera vez, if they fall one time and they get really hurt y se lastiman, Sometimes they get afraid. They become afraid and they don't want to walk anymore. Les da miedo y ya no quieren caminar otra vez. Y ese cambio de crecimiento and that change of growth is very crucial in the child's life. Es muy crucial en la vida de los niños. Because once they start walking, cuando empiezan a caminar, they start balancing and they start doing bigger and greater things. Cuando empiezan a balancearse y ya pueden caminar, empiezan a hacer cosas más grandes. Change. Cambio. What I want to let you guys know, lo que quiero dejarles saber, es that sometimes, a veces, a single moment with God, un tiempo específico con Dios, and He can make a major change in your life. Ese específico momento, Dios puede hacer un gran cambio en tu vida. The day that I accepted Jesus into my heart, el día que yo acepté a Dios en mi corazón, it was a major change in my life. Fue un cambio grande en mi vida que ha cambiado mi vida y mi destino y mi futuro. This is something that has changed my destiny, my future. From there on, it was a different Carlos. Era un diferente Carlos. I could just imagine what would have happened if I would never have met Jesus. Yo me pregunto en veces qué podría haber pasado si yo no hubiera conocido a Dios. Major changes in your life, cambios dramáticos en tu vida que pueden hacer un gran cambio en tu futuro, that can make a major change in your life. And today we're going to see a story, vamos a ver una historia, and we're going to go verse by verse y nos vamos a ir verso por verso para enseñarles el cambio que Dios hizo en un paralítico, the change that God made in a specific man in the Bible. If you guys have your Bibles, if you guys don't, you guys could look at the screen, but we're going to go into the book of John, en el libro de Juan. Vamos a entrar a la Biblia y vamos a empezar en el libro de Juan, the book of John. We're going to be reading verses 1 through 9. Vamos a estar leyendo los versos del 1 al 9. Vamos a empezar con los primeros tres versos. We're going to start with the first 3 verses and we're going to kind of make a pause and kind of go over a few things. Vamos a ver los primeros 3 versos y después vamos a ver unas cuantas cosas de esos 3 versos. We're going to read it in English and then we'll read it in Spanish. The Word of God says, sometime later, Jesus went up to Jerusalem for one of the Jewish festivals. Now, there is in Jerusalem near the sheep gate a pool, which the Aramaic is called Beth, I'm going to call it B, and which is surrounded by 5 covered colonnades. Here a great number of disabled people used to lie. The blind, the lame, the paralyzed, and they waited for the moving of the waters. Let's read it in Spanish. Después de estas cosas, había una fiesta de los judíos y subió Jesús a Jerusalén. Y hay en Jerusalén, cerca de la puerta de las ovejas, un estanque llamado un hebreo Bethesda, el cual tiene 5 pórticos. En estos yacía una multitud de enfermos, ciegos, cojos y paralíticos que esperaban el movimiento del agua. The first thing I want to go over, if you could go on a slide back, Tracy. Lo primero que quiero discutir, que quiero decirles, is that, have you noticed that Jesus knew exactly where to go? Jesús sabía exactamente dónde ir. He was not afraid, no tenía miedo. Iba donde estaban las multitudes. He would go where the multitudes were at. And he used those places to be able to change people's lives. Y usaba esos precisos momentos para cambiar las vidas de muchos. For us, as Christians, sometimes we have the opportunity to go into those multitudes and change people's lives, but we're too afraid. Como cristianos, en veces hay esas multitudes que Dios nos pone para nosotros cambiar vidas y nosotros no hacemos caso. We have to learn that God has given us that has not given us a spirit of fear, but to be able to go and to be that light in that darkness. Dios nos ha dado un espíritu de miedo, sino para poder entrar a esas multitudes y cambiar vidas. So it says that in this place, en este lugar, estaban muchas personas que estaban paralíticas, por decir. We have a lot of people that needed help. It says that they were paralyzed, lame, blind. They needed help. Have you noticed that people that are hurt or people that are broken, it's a lot easier to make a congregation or a place where all the people have something in common? ¿Sabían ustedes que donde hay personas que están quebrantadas, se hace más fácil para poder unirlos para hacer algo? A good example is the church. Un buen ejemplo es la iglesia. We were all broken. Todos estábamos quebrantados, amen? And we're able to have that because of the grace of God and He healing us from that brokenness. We're able to come together. Y por la gracia de Dios y por Dios venir aquí y nos hizo hacer una iglesia. Because we all had something in common. Porque todos teníamos algo en común. We were all broken. Todos estábamos quebrantados. How many of you guys are perfect? ¿Cuántos de ustedes son perfectos? If I see a hand up, si veo una mano arriba, that's the first thing. You're lying. Ese es el primero. Estás mintiendo. And as we continue reading, and we go to verse 4, it says that that multitude, that specific multitude, that specific group of people, esa específica multitud, esa específica grupo de people, de personas, estaban esperando algo. They were waiting for something to happen. And what was about to happen, why would they be waiting there? ¿Por qué estaban esperando allí? Y eso nos da... verse 4 nos dice más o menos why they were waiting. El versículo 4 nos dice por qué estaban esperando. And it says, from time to time an angel of the Lord would come down and stir up the waters. Told you there was a pool, right? And they were not there for on vacation. No estaban ahí de vacaciones en esa alberca. They were not there on vacation. You know, that would be nice. We're here to get some sun and go in the pool. No, it wasn't for that. No era por eso. The first one will come to stir up the waters. The first one into the pool after such disturbance will be cured for whatever disease they had. En español dice, porque un ángel descendía del tiempo en tiempo al estanque. Y no estaban de vacaciones, no estaban ahí, que voy a agarrar el solecito y me voy a meter al agua, no. Estaban esperando algo, y este ángel llegaba y agitaba el agua, y el que primero descendía al estanque después del movimiento del agua, quedaba sano de cualquier enfermedad que tuviese. So can you imagine if there was a pool in Carlos's backyard and you know what, and an angel will come down and he'll stir up the water and whoever jumped in there first will get cured of whatever they had? Can you guys imagine that? How many people will be there just waiting? Ustedes pueden imaginarse, that was English, right? No, I'm going to Spanish. Just making sure you were awake. No quiero saber que estaban despiertos. Imagínense que estuviera mi alberca allá en la casa de Carlos y llegara un ángel y moviera el agua y dijera, ¿sabes qué? Cuando termine y haga burbujas, el primero que salga al agua y el primero que entre al agua será sanado de todo. Imagínense cuánta multitud estuviera esperando allí. There will be a lot of people. Estuviera muchas personas. Now my question is, mi pregunta es, when it comes to something spiritual, cuando hablamos de algo espiritual, when we're trying to heal from something spiritual, cuando queremos sanar de algo espiritual, Why don't people make it to church? ¿Por qué la gente no viene a la iglesia? Is it because they're too judgmental? ¿Es porque juzgan mucho en la iglesia? Is it because they don't see what God is doing in other people's lives? ¿Es porque no ven lo que Dios está haciendo en otras vidas? The reason why people were there, la razón porque la multitud estaba allí, era porque veían la sanación. They will see people healing. Change. Cambio. They wanted that change. Ellos querían ese cambio. They were there waiting to jump in because they wanted to be different. They wanted to be healed. Estaban ahí porque querían sanarse, querían ese cambio. Querían ese cambio por el resto de sus vidas. They wanted that change for the rest of their lives. How many of you guys are ready to change and shift into what God has for you? And I believe that He has a healing for you. Él tiene una sanación para ti. But you have to bring it to Him. Tienes que traérselo a Él. He knows what you need. He knows what you want. Él sabe lo que necesitas. Él sabe lo que requiere. But He wants to hear it from you. Quiere oírlo de ti. I heard the other day, escuché el otro día, somebody say, we're having a party. Vamos a tener un party. Una celebración. And then they said something, B-Y-O-B. Dijeron, B-O-B. And I was like, what is that? Dije, ¿y qué es eso? And then I thought about it, and I'm like, maybe I should bring it to the church. Maybe I'll bring this to the church. Y le dije, a lo mejor lo voy a traer a la iglesia. And they started laughing, y se empezaron a reír. Le dije, because what I want you guys to do, and lo que quiero que hagan es to bring your own breakthrough. Que traigan sus propias cadenas para quebrarlas aquí. Porque en inglés ese sinónimo quiere decir que traigas tu propia cerveza. Because in English it means, that means to bring your own beer. No. We're coming to church, no vamos a venir a la iglesia, and we're going to bring our own breakthrough. Vamos a traer nuestras propias cadenas que vamos a romper. But it starts with us. Empieza con nosotros. If we go to the next verse 5 says, one who was there had been invalid for 38 years. When Jesus saw him laying there and learned that he had been in this condition for a long time, he asked him, do you want to get well? Spanish it says, y había ahí un hombre que hacía 38 años que estaba enfermo. Cuando Jesús le vio acostado y supo que llevaba ahí mucho tiempo así, le dijo, ¿quieres ser sano? Can you go back to the English version? A few things here. Varias cosas aquí. 38 años, 38 years that he had been invalid. I know I look old. Yo sé que yo me veo medio grande. But I'm only 34. Nomás tengo 34 años. So my whole lifetime, toda mi vida, this guy, that amount of time, he had been invalid. Él estaba 38 años inválido. That's a long time. Eso es mucho tiempo. But Jesus sees that. Pero Jesús ve eso. Yo no sé, I don't know how much time you're struggling with a specific area. It could be pornography, it could be addiction, it could be lying, it could be gossiping, it could be a lot of things that you may be going through. Yo no sé por qué tú estás pasando, que ya llevas mucho tiempo que quieres deshacerte, pero no puedes, que puede ser el chisme, puede ser adicción, puede ser la pornografía. It could be different things that you're struggling with, que tú estás batallando. And you don't know what to do no more. No sabes qué hacer, no sabes qué más hacer. Pero ahora quiero que lo pongas en la mesa. I want you today to think of that, and today we're going to put it on the table. This man had been invalid for 38 years, 38 años. I don't know what that is for each one of you. Yo no sé qué eso es para cada uno de ustedes. But Jesus saw that, pero Jesús vio eso y le pregunta, and he asked, do you want to get well? Le preguntó que si quería ser sano. Keyword, do you want? Si quieren ver, lo que decía allí es, ¿quieres ser? Do you want to get well? He asked. Do you want to? What do you think? Like, hey, I've been invalid for 38 years, and in my mind I would have been like, are you really asking this question? Do I want to? I've been here. Look, I'm right here because I want to jump in, because I want to get healed, and you're asking me, do I want to get well? Jesus knows what you need. He did not say, do you need to get well? He said, do you want to get well? Why is that a key word? ¿Por qué quieres ser sano? No le preguntó, yo sé que necesitas ser sano, pero quieres ser sano. La palabra quieres es clave. Because as he says, do you want to get well? Is because there's things that are gonna change once that happens. La razón por que le preguntó, este inválido ha estado inválido por 38 años y Jesús todavía le preguntó, ¿quieres ser sano? Yo estoy allí porque quiero sanar y todavía me preguntas que si quiero ser sano, es porque la clave es de que cuando seas sano va a haber cambios en tu vida. So he had to ask, tenía que preguntarle, do you want to get well? Did you guys know, ustedes sabían que en los tiempos de antes, that in those times, begging was a profession? El pedir dinero era una profesión? Because the only people that could beg, la gente que podía pedir, had to have something wrong. En esos tiempos, la gente tenía que tener algo malo para poder pedir. Era una profesión. Si no tenías nada malo, no podías pedir. If you didn't have anything wrong with you, you couldn't beg. So when he asked, do you want to get well? Cuando él le preguntó, ¿quieres ser sano? That meant that his profession, it was going to change. Quería decir que su profesión iba a cambiar. His life was going to change. Su vida iba a cambiar. People will carry him. Gente lo cargaba. And now he was gonna have to do things on his own. Ahora iba a tener que hacer cosas por sí mismo. Just like that kid, ese niño que no quería caminar. Después tuvo que hacer cosas por sí mismo. Then that little kid had to do things on his own. Change. But God will ask you. Dios te va a preguntar. Today, ahora, I know you're struggling with this addiction, but do you want to change it? Estás frustrado y quieres cambiar esa adicción, pero tú quieres ser sano. Something to think about. Algo en que pensar. Go to the next slide over. Y el inválido le responde, and the man responds, and he says, Sir, The invalid replied, I have no one to help me into the pool when the water is stirred while I'm trying to get in. Someone else goes down ahead of me. Señor, le respondió el enfermo, no tengo quien me meta al estanque cuando se agita el agua y entre tanto yo voy, otro desciende antes que yo. And I don't want to be so harsh on this man. No quiero ser tan cruel con este hombre. But have you ever had that person when you ask them a question, they give all these excuses? ¿Nunca has tenido esta persona que cuando estás hablando y le haces una pregunta te da todas estas excusas? And you don't want to be rude y no quieres ser persona mala, pero en tu mente, but in your mind you're like, just answer yes or no. Nomás en tu mente les dices, nomás te estoy preguntando y quiero que me digas sí o no. Have you ever had those type of people? ¿Has tenido ese tipo de personas? Jesus asked them a simple question, and it looks like a yes or no question, doesn't it? Jesús le hizo una pregunta y era una respuesta simple de sí o no, sí o no. Le dijo, ¿quieres ser sano? Podía responder sí o no. Amén. He asked, do you want to get well? And he could answer yes or no. And leave it at that. But this man went on. Este señor empezó a decir y empezó a decir por qué no podía ser sano. He started to say why he couldn't be healed. And he started blaming people. Y empezó a decir que las personas, era por culpa de las personas. What is the first thing he says? I have no one. No tengo a nadie. I don't know what you're struggling with. Yo no sé con qué tú estás trabajando. Pero en veces dices, oh, es que nadie me apoya. Oh, it's because nobody helps me on that. The next one, it says, while I'm trying to get in, someone else, alguien más entra. Someone else goes in before me. Alguien entra antes que yo. So he starts giving those reasons on why he can't get healed. Empieza a dar esas razones que por qué no puede ser sano. A veces estamos listos para dar excusas. Sometimes we're ready to give excuses. Why don't you stop drinking? ¿Por qué no paras de tomar? Oh, it's because my wife gives me so much stress. Es porque mi esposa me estresa. Why is it that you lie so much? It's because I just have to get away with stuff. Excuse after excuse after excuse. Excusa bajo excusa. Que por qué no paras de tomar. Oh, es que mi esposa me estresa. Why? Why are we giving excuses? ¿Por qué estamos dando excusas? If you're gonna change, you put it on the table today and you say, you know what? I'm changing this and Jesus is the one that's gonna change me. Tú pones las cosas en la mesa y dices, aquí es donde cambian las cosas y pones las cosas en la mesa y Jesús me va a ayudar. Stop giving excuses. Para de dar esas excusas. Jesus said to him, get up. Jesús le dice, levántate. Pick up your mat and walk. Levanta tu camilla y a caminar se ha dicho. Jesus didn't tell him, you're healed. Dios no le dijo, has sido sano. He said, get up. Le dijo, levántate. You know, And I don't blame the guy. Yo no le doy culpa al enfermo. If I was there, well, what do you mean get up? I haven't been able to get up for 38 years. Le han preguntado, ¿cómo que me levante si no me he levantado en 38 años? But the faith was there. La fe estaba allí. He said, get up. God is telling you today, get up. Dios te está diciendo ahora, levántate. Agarra tu camilla y levántate. He's telling you, get your mat and get up. And start walking. Y empieza a caminar. Walk where? ¿Dónde camino? Where should I walk? To your change. A tu cambio. So, ahora en este día, quiero dejarte saber que lo que tú traigas, que has tenido por 38 años o más años o menos años, lo que traigas en tu corazón, que quieras cambiar, que quieras que Dios cambie, hay que ponerlo ahí. I want to tell you that whatever you have in your heart that you want to change, that you've been asking God and that it hasn't been coming, it's time for you to put it up front and give it to God. And start walking, get up and start walking towards that change. It's time to change. Amen. It's time for that change. Amen. It's time for that breakthrough. Es tiempo de quebrar esas cadenas. Es tiempo de avanzar. Es tiempo de ese cambio. What are you bringing today? ¿Qué es lo que tú estás trayendo ahora? God is telling you, get up and start walking. Dios te está diciendo ahora, levántate y empieza a caminar. And once the man was cured, he picked up his mat and started walking. Can you imagine that? En español dice, Jesús le dijo, levántate, toma tu lecho y anda. Y al instante aquel hombre fue sanado y tomó su lecho y anduvo. Obedience. Obediencia. Throughout the Bible, you see all these men of God that were obedient to God, and that He was able to change the trajectory of what they were going, and they changed. And you see their path as they walk with God and their changes and what God did in their lives. Durante toda la Biblia vas a ver varones de Dios y mujeres de Dios que cambiaron su vida y dieron su vida a Dios y todo el trayectorio que hicieron y lo que Dios hizo en sus vidas. But it starts with you wanting to change. Pero empieza con tu querer cambiar. I want to challenge you guys. Ahora los quiero retar. A que lo que tengan que traer, that whatever is that you want to bring, that you give it to God, que se lo des a Dios. Y yo sé que Dios va a hacer ese cambio en tu vida. I know that God is going to make that change in your life. But the first step is that you're going to want to change. El primer paso es de que tú quieras cambiar. So, if I could start having the worship